Now two great entries opened from the hall, at one end one, that gave upon a range of level pavement where the king would pace at sunrise, gazing over plain and wood, and down from this a lordly stairway sloped till lost in blowing trees and tops of towers, and out by this main doorway passed the king. But one was counter to the hearth, and rose high, that the highest crested helm could ride there through nor graze. And by this entry fled the damsel in her wrath, and on to this Sir Gareth strode, and saw without the door King Arthur's gift, the worth of half a town, a war horse of the best, and near it stood the two that out of north had followed him. This bare a maiden shield, a casque, that held the horse, the spear, whereat Sir Gareth loosed a cloak that dropped from collarbone to heel, a cloth of roughest web, and cast it down, and from it like a fuel-smothered fire that looked half dead, brake bright, and flashed as those dull-coated things that making slide apart their dusk-winged cases, all beneath there burns a jewelled harness, ere they pass and fly. So Gareth ere he parted flashed in arms, then as he donned the helm, and took the shield and mounted horse, and grasped the spear of grain, storm strengthened on a windy sight, and tipped with trenchant steel, around him slowly pressed the people, while from out of kitchen came the thralls in throng, and seeing who had worked lustier than any, and whom they could but love, mounted in arms, threw up their caps, and cried, God bless the king and all his fellowship. And on through lanes of shouting Gareth rode down the sloped street, and passed without the gate. So Gareth passed with joy, but as the cur plucked from the cur he fights with, ere his cause be cooled by fighting, follows, being named, his owner, but remembers all, and growls remembering, so Sir Kay beside the door muttered in scorn of Gareth, whom he used to harry and hustle. Bound upon a quest with horse and arms, the king hath passed his time, my scullion knave. Thralls, to your work again, for an your fire be low ye kindle mine. Will there be dawn in west, and eve in east? Begone, my knave, belike and like and now, some old head blow, not heeded in his youth, so shook his wits they wander in his prime. Crazed, how the villain lifted up his voice, nor shamed to bawl himself a kitchen knave. Tut, he was tame and meek, and now with me, till peacocked up with Lancelot's noticing. Well, I will after my loud knave, and learn whether he know me for his master yet. Out of the smoke he came, and so my lance hold, my God's grace, he shall into the mire, thence, if the king awaken from his craze, into the smoke again. But Lancelot said, Kay, wherefore wilt thou go against the king? For that did never he whereon ye rail, but ever meekly serve the king and thee. Abide, take counsel, for this lad is great and lusty, and knowing both of lance and sword. Tut, tell not me, said Kay, ye are over fine to mar stout knaves with foolish courtesies. Then mounted, on through silent faces, rode down the sloped city, and out beyond the gate. But by the field of tourney, lingering yet, muttered the damsel, Wherefore did the king scorn me? For, where Sir Lancelot lacked, at least he might have yielded to me one of those who tilt for ladies' love and glory here, rather than, O sweet heaven, O fie upon him, his kitchen knave. To whom Sir Gareth drew, and there were none but few goodlier than he, shining in arms. Damsel, the quest is mine, lead and I follow. She thereat is one that smells a foul-fleshed agaric in the hot holt, and deems it carrion of some woodland thing, or shrew or weasel, nipped her slender nose with petulant thumb and finger, shrilling, "Hence! Avoid! Thou smellest all of kitchen grease, and look who comes behind." For there was Kay. "Knowest thou not me, thy master? I am Kay. We lack thee by the hearth." And Gareth to him, "Master no more, too well I know thee, I, the most ungentle knight in Arthur's hall." "Have at thee then," said Kay. They shocked, and Kay fell, shoulder slipped, and Gareth cried again, "Lead, and I follow," and fast away she fled. But after sod and shingle ceased to fly behind her, and the heart of her good horse was nigh to burst with violence of the beat, perforce she stayed, and overtaken spoke. "What dost thou, scullion, in my fellowship? Deemest thou that I accept thee aught the more, or love thee better, that by some device full cowardly, or by mere unhappiness, thou hast overthrown and slain thy master, thou, dishwasher and brooch-turner, loon? To me thou smellest all of kitchen as before." "Damsel," Sir Gareth answered gently, "say whate'er ye will, but whatsoe'er you say, I leave not till I finish this fair quest, or die therefore." "Ay, wilt thou finish it? Sweet lord, how like a noble knight he talks! The listening rogue hath caught the manner of it. But knave, anon thou shalt be met with, knave, and then by such a one, that thou for all the kitchen brewis that was ever supped, shall not once dare to look him in the face." "I shall essay," said Gareth with a smile that maddened her, and away she flashed again down the long avenues of a boundless wood, and Gareth, following, was again beknaved. "Sir Kitchen Knave, I have missed the only way where Arthur's men are set along the wood. The wood is nigh as full of thieves as leaves. If both be slain, I am rid of thee. But yet, Sir Scullion, canst thou use that spit of thine? Fight, and thou canst. I have missed the only way."